18th of December 2025, exactly 7 days to Christmas. Kama kondo yako si kondo, mbuzi. Kama mbuzi yako hujaifungia kwa mti sahi, forget. Hata kuku zishanunuliwa.
You've muted your mic, Fred.
I did?
Yes, you did. It's International Migrants Day. I hope amewasha sasa. Good morning. This is Morning Cafe. Karibuni sana. Lakini mbona umesema mbuzi? Kwani kondoo hailiwi?
Kuna wale wanapenda kondoo na kuna wale wanapenda kondoo Ulaya. Mimi napenda mbuzi. If at all haujafunga mbuzi yako sahi, ama ile kuku unangojea kuifunga kukula Christmas, if at all hujaifuga, umeumia. My name is Fred Ndimuli, karibu sana. This is the Morning Cafe, 13 days to the end of 2025. Let's take a look at the headlines, and today the big story is this one. Diageo sells EABL stake to Japan brewer for 300 billion. Why does it seem like we're selling everything? I don't know. Okay, fine. Diageo was not Kenyan, but it's just this feeling like we're selling everything that's big in Kenya. Yeah, it's a season of selling. We're selling Safaricom. We're selling Kenya Pipeline. Now even EABL we've sold. Okay, fine. Diageo wasn't Kenyan, but anyway, that's a start.
Business Daily. How Diageo bought and sold EABL stake for 47 billion shillings profit.
I'm telling you, this one. A few years back, there's a gentleman who bought and sold a company within hours, and he made over crazy profits.
Oh, wow.
It's something similar.
It's all about risks.
Yes, that's a Business Daily. Anyway, the other story is making headlines, of course, Jirongo death mystery, because mambo inaendelea kujulikana. This is the Daily Nation.
Taifa Leo bado hivyo kuliendaje na Jirongo.
Standard. And now we have a very interesting photo of Donald Trump. Trump hits again.
People Daily, the promise and the paradox. Can Kenya march the Asian Tigers?
Now make a picture hapa ya Nairobi versus Singapore.
Tunaenda Singapore, au sio?
Well, we're heading to Singapore. Yeah. All right. For State of the Nation, today we'll be having Wilson Sossion, a veteran educationist, also a unionist. Kathy Rungu, a governance expert, and MP for Soi, David Kiplagat, coming away at 6:30. So do stand by for that.
Tuvuke border, we start off in Uganda. Daily Monitor, facing justice. Accusations and prosecution allege that Nixon Agasirwe financed and coordinated the 2015 murder of Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Joan Kagezi, and later frustrated investigation into the crime. Now, we've been talking about this story since the year began. This story has been covered on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Monitor today. This photo here, Senior Superintendent of Police Nixon Agasirwe Karuhanga, who is a suspect in the murder of former Assistant DPP Kagezi, who is also here, in the Dock Pally in Kampala yesterday. Other quick headlines: each voter to spend a minute during biometric verification, according to the Electoral Commission in Uganda. Ugandans are heading to the polls in January 15.
So they have this biometric verification, which is, it checks your biometrics on the face. Hapa na pale wanaangalia iris na nini.
Transport fares rise as Christmas draws near. Kama tu huku kwetu pia. Sasa unajua kwanza kule Nyanza ukienda nimeangalia pale bus fare.
How much is it?
3,500.
How much are flights to Kisumu?
Na zimeja. I don't know, it's 15,000 or 18,000 right now.
One way.
One way.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you've not booked your flight to Kisumu especially, or even to the coast, because even I was trying to book the SGR for someone to the coast, and you cannot get any booking right now.
Nothing.
Yeah, man.
Jaribu next year.
People, but the interesting thing is that so many people book months in advance for December holidays, then it does not align with their schedules. So they don't end up traveling, but they've already booked. Your pesa inapotea, alafu inabidi wapande basi. Because even if you delay by an hour, itabidi upande basi.
Yeah, umeachwa.
Yes.
All right, that's the Daily Monitor this morning.
The same story features on the front page of the New Vision. Kagezi murder. Agasirwe gave killers 2 guns, and all these are revelations in court about how this murder happened. The main suspect, former superintendent of police, and it's the ODPP, the deputy ODPP who was murdered. You can imagine how dirty that story is. The same one, prosecution submits shocking evidence against ex-detective. And I don't know, Hapa hii picha inakaa vizuri sana. Ukiangalia ile picha amekewa hapa, I think he has suffered enough.
Anakaa mtu amekaa jela sana.
Amekaa kwa remand kiasi. So apparently he gave killers 2 guns, but then again this is a story that's still before the courts. It is not final, it's just evidence presented. Matters campaigns, of course, as Ugandans continue, and yesterday Yoweri Museveni was in Kasanda. And he says, I think Kasanda region had elected MPs from the opposition previously. So electing opposition was a mistake in Kasanda. And of course, a sea of yellow there. Kama kawaida leo ametolewa pale kwa ile kona ya chini wakapelekwa pale juu. Chagulani, Mafabi and Muntu. At least they've been given better space hapa juu. Traversing as they continue the presidential campaigns, of course. But hapa chini ndio kila kitu iko. That is in Uganda.
All right. Tanzania, mwananchi, kigingi cha Trump kuingia Marekani atangaza udhibiti mkali wa visa. Makundi haya kuathirika zaidi na serikali yatoa kauli. Wanadiplomasia waeleza athari na wataka mambo mbalimbali yashughulikiwe. Kulingana na anaitwa wakala wa masomo nje ya nchi ya Tanzania, anasema huu ni mwendelezo tu. Hali ilianza kuwa ngumu tangu mwanzoni wa mwaka huu kusafirisha wanafunzi kwenda Marekani. Masharti yamekuwa mengi tofauti na zamani. Waache mambo yake. Hii mambo kuna vile wamesema 12 more countries have been given extra restrictions for visa by the US. I think we'll come back and take a look at the standard and see what's happening. Tanzania is one of those countries affected. Kenya, tuko sawa tu, although unajua Trump does not like friends from the other side. Au pande across the border watu. There are people, but kuna mshike pale. So probably it will come to bite us as well. Tema. Mwigulu atafuna mfupa mgumu Tunduma. Anasema kwamba kilio cha msongamano wa malori katika mpaka wa Tunduma mkoani Songwe kimesukuma Waziri Mkuu Daktari Mwigulu Nchemba kuagiza mamlaka ya mapato Tanzania maagizo hayo katika ukurasa wa 5 wa gazeti hili. Mapito mradi wa mwendo kasi yalivyoacha makovu ni habari nyingine hapo. Baba Levo wa Kisiki kuzuia kesi. Watoto 2 wateketea, wazazi walazwa. That's some sad news there. Na kule juu, tuko on the front page again. Ruto avutiwa na Mtanzania kuwekeza shilingi bilioni 600 huku Kenya. Nasema kwamba Rais wa Kenya William Ruto ameeleza kuvutiwa na uwekezaji wa kampuni ya Amson Group inayomilikiwa na Mtanzania.
Kuna pesa nyingi zinakuja Kenya bwana. Kuenda aje bwana. Tukisalia kule Tanzania, let's focus on the citizen. What US travel cabs mean as Tanzania seeks solution. So alikuwa amesema nani, unakumbuka a few days back when immediately after the elections and there were restrictions by the EU then on Tanzania, then the President Samia Suluhu Hassan came akasema, who are you? Who are you? Will she say the same thing to Donald Trump? Who are you? The government says it is actively engaging the US through diplomatic channels amid growing anxiety among Tanzanian students, traders and short-term travelers after Washington suspended several visa categories by way of partial travel restrictions. This one has hit Tanzania hard. Kenya, not so bad. But Tanzania, wataumia. So Tanzania is among 15 countries subjected to partial suspension, others being Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, the Gambia, Malawi, Mauritania, Nigeria. Even Nigeria has been affected. Senegal, Tonga, Zambia and Zimbabwe. Kenya iliponea tu chupu. And I think the president's trip juzi kwenda huko US probably it helped. Ilisaidia sana because hata sisi tungeumia hapo, especially because of a close relation with our other neighbors upande hii ya juu northern Kenya. Kuna neighbors pale wamecause shida sana kule US and because of that Kenya could be affected, but I think tumeponea. So US travel restrictions is a big story and it also features on one of our front pages. Other stories in this paper, UDSM, Kagera campus reshapes investment, rollout of universal health insurance on the horizon. Horizon, anyway. That's the citizen in Tanzania.
All right.
Yes. We're about to take a look at our local dailies ndo tujue kama tumekuwa affected. Hali ya anga sasa. Leo tunaanzia hapa Narok.
This is Narok, 13 degrees this morning, feels like it. It's a mostly cloudy day in Narok. highs of 25 degrees, so not so hot. Precipitation 10%. This is comfortable in Narok.
Yes, the eastern side of the country in Makueni, 19 degrees, a bit warmer. They expect light rain today. Highs of 28 degrees, which is much warmer. But precipitation upper, 60%. It will definitely rain. It will definitely rain in Makueni today. And I think they need that rain as well. But I visited Makueni last week when I was on a break. Places like Wote, all the way to Kibwezi, and there's another town. And I'm telling you, that place is beautiful. It's so green. And the mangoes, because all the trees are just hanging like this. You can just see from the highway. Trees are heavy with mangoes. Okay, fine, they're not yet ripe, but
it's that season.
It is that season. Okay, let's you can tunaangalia Machakos tena na ni hiyo area. But anyway, sawa.
16 degrees in Machakos, feels like it. Highs over 24 degrees, na huku pia kuna nyesha literally. Asaba the whole day it will rain in Machakos.
So Ukambani, Makueni, Machakos kuna mvua.
So wanakuanga na maji. We're just stereotyping.
Oh, it's a very green place, by the way. Ile image watu wanakuanga na hati Ukambani. Visit that place. It is so green. And the fruits and everything. Beautiful.
I think the reason we were taking a look at Machakos and Makueni, we were to look at Migori.
Oh yeah, we can still take a look at Migori. Let's take a look at, this is where? This is Mombasa, the coastal area.
24 degrees in Mombasa this morning, feels like 27, a hot day, highs of 29 degrees. Precipitation in Mombasa 20%, so kuna chances it might rain kidogo. It
will definitely rain, especially around midday, wanasema kutakuwa na mvua proper. But this will change. Next week highs will get to about 32. Christmas Day will be very hot in Mombasa.
Christmas Day, Wednesday?
I think Thursday, yeah. But Wednesday 32, Thursday 31. Today at least 29, which is comfortable there.
All right. Isiolo, 19 degrees this morning. Feels like 25. Nipigia hata makofi. Clear skies with periodic clouds. Highs of 28 degrees. Precipitation nothing. Hata wamesema ni 0%. Lakini tomorrow ni kama kutanyesha in huku. And then Monday too and Sunday as well. So finally,
let's take a look at Nairobi. Which has been quite warm, 16 degrees currently, highs of 25, which is not so bad. And I think this will continue into the weekend, into next week. But Christmas Day and after that, Nairobi will be extra hot. 28 and 29 is not, even 30. Nairobi will get as hot as 30 next week. It will be very warm, those few days of Christmas.
Yeah. January
kiingia, lakini at least right now, not so bad. So that's the weather situation. And as far as traffic is concerned, and we keep on reporting about how busy the CBD is, especially around areas like Tea Room, Luthuli Avenue, River Road, where most buses, even Kirinyaga Road, where most buses, especially to the coast and western side of the country, are situated. And yes, you can see. Angalia tu hapa. This is how bad the city is at this time of day. A few minutes past 6, angalia tu ile roundabout ile pale Bomblast, Railways bus station. It is so busy. Areas around Machakos. This is where all the traffic is situated. Hapa hivi downtown. Ile ito downtown Nairobi is extra busy. People are traveling, and even most of the shopping is happening around this area. Because if you come back to the major highways into town, there's nothing much. Pale Pangani interchange, this is not even normal. Hakuna traffic kabisa, Pangani interchange.
Yeah.
Thika Road is green all the way. Kiambu Road is green. Even Outer Ring.
Something here.
Ngara pale, but you see ni kidogo sana. Kuna kwanga na matatu zinasimama pale just before you get to Globes roundabout. Kuna stage pale, but apart from that, nothing much. Mombasa Road into town. If you've not booked the SGR, because I know so many people are going this way to the SGR and the airport to head towards the coast, not bad. Ngong Road, pale Prestige Plaza, pale kwa cross interchange, sio mbaya sana. And even Wayaki Way all the way into town is good. So most of the traffic is centered around the CBD.
All right, let's have the quote of the day.
Dreams fade fast without action. Every unattempted goal guarantees a miss. Try, fail, grow, but always take the shot you fear.
All right, let's come back and take a look at the local dailies. All right, let's take a look at the dailies, and this is a big story this morning, the sale of Diageo shares of EABL, and that is what features on the front page of the Star today. Diageo sells EABL stake to Japan brewer for 300 billion shillings. 300 billion shillings. Unajiuliza kwani what is the valuation of EABL? And today I've learned that the valuation of this company is actually close to 550 billion shillings.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's
close to a trillion.
Yes, they're heading towards that. It is one of the biggest taxpayers in Kenya, of course, just like Safaricom, which we are also selling, and Kenya Pipeline, which has, Uganda is raising money to buy. So Asahi Group is the largest brewer in the Asian country. Kuna mlevi mmoja aliona hii akaniuliza, sasa inamaanisha tutaanza kukunywa pombe za Japan. Because Diageo is a European company, so there's a lot of influence, especially on what we drink, especially from Europe. The whiskeys, the beers, most of them, there's a lot of European influence. Now that this one will be the majority, it's a Japanese influence. Of course, if you look at the dailies, they've actually given notice of no intention to take over control of EABL. But that is it's just about a matter of time. They will take over control of EABL. And Japan are known to have their own unique alcohol influences. Are they going to come to Africa? This is very expensive. Diageo has made a profit of about 47 billion shillings from this sale. And you wonder, why would a Japanese company spend so much money? Wouldn't it be easier to just buy another one? No, it's very strategic. And you'll see a lot of Japanese influence in as far as what we drink in Kenya. In the
Walevi.
Walevi. Watu wengine kama huyu master na huyu director wetu master. Kuna ile kitu wanapenda kukunywa, sijui kama itaingia kwa hii list.
Director of the year.
Director of the year. By the way, Kevin is a director of the year.
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations, Kevin. Because wacha tuona mahali.
We are hosting the director of the year.
Yes.
At Cape Media.
Because this is, I think, the penultimate show of the year, the very second last show.
Yeah.
So I think it's deserved.
Yes.
Yeah. Congratulations, Kevin. This story refuses to leave the front pages of our dailies. Jirongo's death. Jirongo died, but blunt force trauma reveals autopsy report. And you can see government pathologist Johansen Oduor there. And niliona mtu akisema ati it's blunt force that caused the death, not the accident. Kwani blunt force inatoka wapi?
Ilitoka wapi?
Anyway, that's a story. Penalties jump to 26 billion shillings as pending bills pile. This is according to the control of budget. Pale June 2027 race, Ruto allies trained fire on Kalonzo. We discussed this yesterday. It is just about Kalonzo now. The president and all his people are just targeting Kalonzo. And Kalonzo, I don't know why, he's just responding to them. President alisema 50 years hapana, si 50 ni 40. Acha mambo yako. That's the stuff.
For the first time, the Business Daily inakuja second after...
Because of the main story that we're talking about today.
How DJ bought and sold EABL stake for 47 billion shillings profit. Once again, it says, British multinational DJ is set to bank a profit of 47.2 billion shillings from selling the extra stake of 14.97% it bought in East African Breweries Limited in March 2023 after reaching a deal to offload its Kenyan assets to Japanese beverage maker Asahi Holdings. This story, Business Daily has covered it extensively on page 2. Of course, utapata mengi zaidi. This is the Business Daily.
It's interesting that they said that a total EABL issued shares, Diageo shares in EABL about 515 million. Total valuation of EABL at current price is about 199 billion. But the valuation price, Asahi, 467 billion. Yeah. The total cost of what they're buying in a company valued at 199 is 300 billion. They've just put all the money. We don't care about the valuation. We are just buying. Yeah, we just want it. Yes.
Itakuja na profit.
Kuna kitu wanafuata.
SDA Church entangled in collapsed crypto trading platform. That's also interesting.
Yeah, this one I saw it on social media, people complaining about vile wamegongwa. I didn't know there was a church angle to it. That's very interesting. Watu wewe unaenda kutafuta neno unapelekwa mahali ya crypto unagongwa pesa.
SDA.
Poleni.
On the Thika cost of voluntary exits by civil servants hits 1.6 billion shillings, and workers exiting state entities voluntarily swelled the government's separation bill by 73.8% to 1.57 billion shillings in the year ended June 2025. That is signaling a rise in early exits from public service. Kenya Airways in twin leadership vacuum as Alan Kilavuka exits.
Swali hapa. Now that we are selling everything, Safaricom, situuze hii inakanga make loss.
KQ.
Safaricom is selling, KPC, Kenya Pipeline is selling. We're selling even EABL. Hii inaleta tu loss.
Actually, that one I support. Even Kenyans are complaining about KQ.
Yeah, it should be sold, if you ask me. Part of the, anyway.
New rule caps virtual asset providers capital at 50 million shillings. That's the business daily this morning.
All right, very interesting stories, of course, the sale of Diageo shares. Jirongo, still the main story on the front page of the Daily Nation. Jirongo death mystery, of course, after the release of the autopsy report yesterday. Family spokesman says the report does not answer all the questions. And the queries they're asking is, why did Jirongo drive towards Naivasha? 1. 2, have police questioned persons Jirongo interacted with last before he left Karen? One of them, inasemekana, alikuwa na speaker, the National Assembly. Inasemekana, according to what people have said. Why is the bus company reluctant to make public the passenger manifest? Were there people in that bus? Was it an empty bus? You know the story. And where are other witnesses, particularly passengers, to corroborate the bus driver's account? And why have the police not recorded statements from them? So 3 pathologists concluded serious injuries to the chest, abdomen and spine due to blunt force trauma caused the death of politician Cyrus Jirongo, which is consistent with a road accident. But questions still linger about the circumstances of the fatal road accident, given conflicting accounts. So they've covered this story on pages 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. A bit of politics features there on the front page of the Daily Nation. ODM without trailer, MPs plot defections. They have images of about 7 MPs currently ODM members who could be on their way out. One of them, interestingly, is Karoli Omondi, who worked very close with Raila Odinga when he was Prime Minister. I think he was a spokesman or someone very senior in that office.
He was here yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Oh, he was here till 47.
At night, yeah. With Dibal.
The SG of ODM, sema katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Edwin Sifuna is one of them. Richard Onyonka, huyo najua sharuka kwa upande ile ingine, ule jamaa wa
Mount Kenya,
wa Jubilee, anaitwaje? Matiang'i. Mark Nyamita, Uriri MP. Now those are 2 MPs from Nyanza, South Suba and Uriri. Babu Owino, of course, things have been said about him. Anthony Kibagendi, Caleb Amisi, ni wale wa Kenya moja wengi wao. Lakini what happened Kenya moja? Ilififia. Anyway, some Orange Party MPs opposed to the outfit working with President Ruto, including endorsement of his re-election, and others apprehensive about rigged primaries, have signaled they will decamp in the run-up to the 2027 general election. A lot of these MPs were really counting on the support of Raila Odinga. If Raila Odinga showed up at your campaign and said, hii kijana ndio mimi nataka mu-elect, that's it. Now he won't be there. Watu wanang'ang'ana. Other stories given prominence, of course, news of transition. A Supreme Court judge, Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, passed on yesterday at the Aga Khan Hospital. He said he was admitted as an advocate of the High Court in 1983. Where were you in 83?
Hata sikuwa planned.
And he was appointed to the top court in 2011. He was only a few days to retirement, then he passed on. So now there's a vacancy in the Supreme Court and the list of judges of the Supreme Court, and I know that will be a serious discussion. Control of budget, how globe-trotting county officials splashed millions on lucrative trips. Yesterday we were talking about how they're spending nothing on development, but they're spending a lot on travel. Senior school fees puzzle, pesa mutalipa proper. A revised fee structure for boarding schools that the government released earlier and is yet to be recalled is causing confusion about fees payable in January. That story is on page 10. If at all you have a learner who's transitioning to senior school, you better read that story on page 10. Daily Nation.
Taifa Leo, kuliendaje? Aliyekuwa mbunge wa Lugari Cyrus Jirongo huenda alifariki dunia kutokana na majeraha aliyopata katika ajali ya gari iliyotokea Desemba tarehe 13, lakini maswali kadhaa ambayo hayajajibiwa yamewaacha wengi, hususan familia na marafiki zake, huku wakiendelea kutafuta ukweli kamili kuhusu kifo chake. Anasema kwamba sababu ya Jirongo kusafiri Naivasha ghafla, video za CCTV kufichwa na kimya cha abiria 67 bado fumbo kuu. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili. Na tukisonga teketeke, vidokezo zaidi, manusura wa maporomoko waachwa hoi huku ni kule Chesongony, na hofu ukame ukitanda kaunti kadhaa. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 10. Rais Trump aigonga Tanzania, amepiga marufuku raia wa Tanzania kuingia nchini mwake, hatua ambayo ni pigo kwa Rais Suluhu. Na kule juu, nyumba ya Raila yaanza kuungua. Habari hiyo ambayo tumezungumzia kule Daily Nation. There's ODM without Raila. That's Taifa Leo.
Hiyo habari ya Trump imepewa kipaumbele kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa The Standard. Trump hits again, putting Kenya's neighbors on partial restrictions, mainly Tanzania, which is among the 15 countries affected, while slamming others with outright entry bans is a blunt signal from President Donald Trump's White House, coming after his harsh rhetoric towards Somalis. It also raises the stakes for Kenya. Even with recent health deals and cordial ties, Nairobi cannot assume it is safe from tougher vetting, with porous regional borders and close interaction with nationals from countries now on Washington's watch list. And this, you remember, was it last year when the president reviewed the issuance of IDs, especially on the northern frontier and northeastern side of Kenya? And that raised a lot of questions, because people say that a lot of Somalis, not Kenyan Somalis, people from Somalia who would want to travel elsewhere, get into Kenya, acquire Kenyan citizenship, and then acquire passports from Kenya, to allow them to travel abroad. So that could be a risk factor, in as far as these restrictions, but so far we've survived. So that's the main story. The only other story given prominence on the front page, of course, that news of transition, the death of Justice Mohammed Ibrahim of the Supreme Court. They said 2 weeks before his retirement.
Oh, wow.
Supreme Court Judge Ibrahim died at Aga Khan University Hospital. He was appointed the court's first bench in June 16. I think he is the one who has lasted longest in that Supreme Court, Justice Ibrahim. And 2 weeks only, then he was going to retire. Anyway, that's the Standard.
All right. People Daily, the promise and the paradox. Can Kenya match the Asian tigers? Is this a pipe dream, the Singapore dream? Nairobi versus Singapore, side by side.
I like the way they've put those two pictures. Lakini hii ya Nairobi, is it representative of the country? Ile picha wameka hapa. Does Kenya look like this?
Doesn't it? Oh, no, no,
no. Can you replicate this anywhere else in Kenya? Do we even come close anywhere else apart from
This is Nairobi.
This is just Nairobi.
Yeah. Eyeing the dragons, but the whole of Singapore look like that.
Yes.
It does?
No, okay, I don't know much about Singapore. I've never been there.
Yeah. So labda Rais atuambie.
Rais anaelewa zaidi Singapore vile inakaa.
Yeah.
Hata Singapore tunaambiwa tukuweka Singapore. Do we even know what Singapore looks like?
We don't know how Singapore looks like. Labda pia hiyo tu ni capital city yao imewekwa pale. But this is ours. Looks equally nice. Sio mbaya.
Looks decent, not bad.
All right, that story is on page 4 and 5. Why Ruto is taking on Kalonzo ahead of 2027 is another story covered on page 6.
By the way, why is he taking on Kalonzo?
Why
not Matiang'i? Why not Maraga? Why not Gachagua? It's just Kalonzo.
Labda, you know, there's a time he said that hakuna mtu huko anampea pressure. So labda.
Sema wana akili. That's a very...
Now Kalonzo ametoa.
Na hakuna barabara huko kwao.
Ala. Kule juu on the top strip, audit shock, 10 counties operating over 200 bank accounts. There was a time Nairobi was put on the spot na lawyers wake. You remember? So many lawyers in Nairobi.
Yes.
Sasa, and banks as well. Audit sai imeonyesha 10 counties operating over 200 bank accounts. We're still talking about such issues.
Yes, once again on State of the Nation, these are the three individuals who will be in studio to help us take a look at the big headlines today. David Kiplagat, who's a MP Soi, Kathy Rungu, who's a governance expert, and Mwalimu Wilson Sosion, a veteran educationist and unionist. He was also a member of the National Assembly in the 12th Parliament. So they will be in studio starting at 6:30. Alright, tuangalie karakacha sasa. Wachoraji wanazungumzia nini? Unajua magazeti yanaweza kuzungumzia mambo tofauti, lakini ukienda kwa katundu unajua ukweli wa mambo. The first cartoon is the one on the staff, a caricature of the president, typically ile kupale juu ya gari, kinua mikono akisema safari hii. Lakini kuna chungwa imekatwa katikati on either side, heading toward, hapa wangeandika 2027. So I think it's the interaction. Yesterday was in Migori, his very first trip to Nyanza region after the death of the former prime minister. Now, his interaction with ODM and the Nyanza region, big story. That's a cartoon on the Star.
This is a Daily Nation. The Singapore dream. I am making great strides here. This is the president caricatured. Like in there's something, development, and race.
Anazunguka tu lakini.
Yeah. Singapore, Kenya.
Singapore. Tunaenda Singapore.
Tutakuwa tunaita Singapore.
Kindly familiarize yourself with what happens in Singapore. Because tunazungumzia Singapore ni kama, na hatujui kuna what happens in Singapore.
Right.
Same thing, Singapore. So you can actually tell what the cartoon is talking about. This is the biggest discussion. The cabinet approved the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund, which is the first step towards our, is it a travel or towards aspirations towards being close to Singapore?
Yes.
Yeah. So hapa the caricature of the president, ako juu ya bulldozer hapa anakanyaga ni infrastructure. Tunaenda Singapore.
So this is the Daily Nation?
This is the Daily Nation. In the Standard.
Oh yeah, I said this is the Daily Nation.
It's Harry. And finally the cartoon on the People Daily.
Trufena Muthoni has made it.
Oh yes.
Guinness World Records. She is here in the caricatures today. People Daily. But the president is caricatured hugging a tree. Anasema, if she did it in 3 straight days, I can also try and do it in 2 terms. Or even 3.
Or even 3. Very telling. 2 terms, fine. The Constitution provides for it.
Yeah.
But the suggestion that he could go beyond that. Because he has said, for us to get to the first world status, it needs like 30 years from today. Given the fact that if at all there's a change in administration, a lot of things could change. What is this trying to say? That anataka around for 30 years and
That's Tano Stick.
It's Tano Stick, not
People
mine.
Daily.
People Daily.
All right, do interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube. And on X at TV47 Digital. My handle on X, ama before tufike pale, waambie.
Oh yes, so it is 7 days to Christmas. Kama hujajipanga, wacha tukupange. Tukuambie mahali unafaa kwenda. So this festive season, there's only one place that feels like home for celebrations, and that's Fun City in Utawala. So this is where fun meets family, and every moment becomes a memory, from end of year parties, school fun days, festive events, and magical family gatherings. Fun City brings your celebrations to life with entertainment, great food, swimming, spacious venues, and activities for everyone. So this holiday season, celebrate big, celebrate happy, celebrate at Fun City Gardens, and you can call or WhatsApp to book your space there. This is the number 0722-238-988, 0722-238-988. Fun City Gardens, fun for the whole family.
All right, on X, TV47 Digital, my handle is at @an_leader. The hashtag is Morning Cafe TV47.
My handle on X is at Fred Indimuli. See you after the break.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gun. Betty, I didn't know where this guy's going.
Walikutoka.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Hiyo naona nakubali.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Theological, meteorologist. What is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Farika tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Farika is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasipuni. CP unit ni Punet.
So you guys knew about...
Piga.
Sawa basi. Nasema, that I gave you the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30.
All right. Welcome back and good morning once again. You're watching Morning Cafe. This is being, I think, the second last show that we're going to have this year. Very interesting. And you just want to take a look at the big headlines today. 18th of December 2025, 7 days to Christmas. Allow me to welcome my panelists, David Kiplagat in Pisoi, karibu sana, and Kathy Rungu, who's a political commentator.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome. Still hoping one more person will join us. One of the big discussions, and probably not on the front pages today, we've seen it at least captured in the cartoons today, is what the president has called upon Kenyans to imagine and to dream. The possibility that we could get to first world status in the next 30 years. And it's a big dream. A lot of criticism, a lot of skepticism as well from a lot of Kenyans on whether or not it could be a reality. But the president and his cabinet this week on Monday made the very first step towards that. His first commitment was that for us to get to that level, we need to upgrade our infrastructure to a certain level. And that would cost us about 5 trillion shillings. And the cabinet approved the setting up of the National Infrastructure Fund on Monday this week. And communication from that meeting indicates that that fund will be run by a limited liability company. And these are the questions we now want to probe, Bwana Kiplagat, because many Kenyans do not understand how these funds are run. And there has been a lot of controversy in even how other funds are run, NHIF, NSSF, the Affordable Housing Fund, and all these funds. Now he's introduced another one, which I think is the most ambitious, 5 trillion shillings. And we are not hearing any other voice, including parliamentarians, talking about this. It's only the president. And there are serious concerns about the legality of this, how we can actually ring-fence these funds. You are a member of this parliament.
Yes.
Don't you think that you're failing Kenyans by not being able to communicate this and making even the people you represent from Soi understand what such a fund would entail and what it would mean for this country?
Okay, first I say good morning to our viewers this morning. First, you should understand Indumuli. I think I can say the fourth estate might be failing Kenyans because as Kenyans, we have dreams and we need to be optimistic in life. You know, nobody bewitched us to just be bystanders and hope that something miraculous will happen for us to be able to jump into a first world country. We need to do. We need to bite the bullet, and the decisions have to be as radical as has been proposed by the president. And I'm seeing some arguments that things are being done behind Parliament. If you could have been following the bills that we have been able to pass for the last 3 months in Parliament, one of it was the privatization amendment bill that enables and gives the space for purposes of inviting investors to invest in government-owned parastatals. And I think one of them is Kenya Pipeline, as you have been told. Lastly, before we went for recess, we passed the public enterprise bill. That now enabled the setting up of the infrastructure fund and the sovereign fund. So if you can look, at the two bills, in fact, it enables most of the parastatals to actually run as a private limited company for purposes of being able to access some privileges that as a parastatal they could not be able to access. Because at the end of the day, you and me know that running a government enterprise, the way it is perceived is that they rarely break even. But if you run it, even if it is owned by 100% by government, if you run it as a company with directors who now come in, you get right now what usually happens is that for those politicians who fail after an elections, you know, they bargain to be given this board. They might not have the expertise and the know-how to be able to strategically run the organization. But if you have that corporate entity as a limited company, then in terms of bringing in the directors, it will be brought the same way the KCB and other known companies are run. So these are the reforms that we have proposed and we have passed as an assembly. And I can tell you, the constitution is very clear as to the standpoint of Parliament in our constitution. And there is nothing that can be done without the breath of life from Parliament. So the question is the kind of control that the president has on that Parliament. If you look at, of course, Parliament is composed of political parties, and political parties, that's why you fight to have as many members as possible so that you can be able to control the agenda of Parliament. It is not rocket science. Even if you go to the US, the Republicans will want as many many members of the Senate and the House of Representatives. So that is normal in any democracy. So don't criticize by virtue that the president controls numbers in Parliament. It's a good thing. But what I can tell you is nothing has been done outside what the tenets of what our constitution proposes. The serious concern is the quality of scrutiny. As I finish, what is the problem of us dreaming and having a strategic path to get us to Singapore? Why do you want to remain to remain the way you are?
Okay, Kathy, the biggest concern is the quality of scrutiny of some of these ambitions. Ambition is good, but it would appear that this is the ambition of one man, yeah? And Parliament is simply rubber stamping the ambitions of one man. That is the concern that there is.
That's what is coming out.
Yes. Yeah. Do you agree that there are serious risks with that? That ambition is good, and ambition may be good, but Parliament appears, the 13th Parliament, which I'm talking about, appears to only be there to rubber stamp the ambitions of this one.
Actually, for me, and thank you very much, Indimuli, for having us. And you said this is the second last show before Christmas. So, of course, we also take this opportunity to wish our viewers and our friends a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And, of course, to remind them that it is very important that we also observe carefulness on our roads. There are so many accidents that we're experiencing now, and it is something that should concern all of us. So let's be careful on our roads. Let's focus. But then back to the political debate or the debate on governance that we're having. I think for me, I keep telling you time and again that we have a toothless parliament. And for the reason as to why that has happened is because the president makes decisions alone. To me, he has managed to get the two major political parties. I am from the Azimio team, and even the collapse of Azimio itself was a proper strategy by the executive to ensure that there's no one to question or to do oversight. A few people are trying to do that, and I see someone like Honorable Dende Nyoro. He came out strongly questioning, and it is okay to question. Accountability is important, and it is good that we ask the hard questions. It doesn't matter who is asking and who is being asked. I like the fact that the Member of Parliament who is seated next to me has shed some light as to how we got here. The gears they have engaged, the bills they have passed. But there has been very limited public participation. And when you listen to the people, actually the people do not understand any of these things. I was in my rural area a few days ago, and one person tried to engage me about the Safaricom sale, the sale of shares, the Safaricom shares. And you can really tell that there's been a lot of noise. The people in Parliament, and I can quote the Honorable Alice Nganga on Sunday, she went all out and said the president is free to sell whatever he wants to sell so that he can do the roads. What kind of an argument is that? I mean, it's wrong for a member of Parliament to take sides and even make such pronunciations in church. We are looking at a Parliament that is not just toothless, but they are only answerable to the executive. They are not answerable to the people. It is the people who took them there, but they are not answerable to the people. They don't take care of our interest. They take care of the interest of their political parties, as Mwisho has said, largely. And secondly, the president, who seems to be, give it to him, he's totally in charge. He's taken charge of all the spheres, whether you're talking about Parliament, you're talking about the executive, he's really in charge. And for them, they're just following what the president, the pace that he sets. Public participation is very important, because without public participation, then the noise that comes from the one-term team, because they make a lot of noise. Even now, when you listen to some of the lies that are also emanating from the one-term team, I listened to one of the principals say that the value for the Safaricom shares, for example, is 80 shillings. But you see, what that group is trying to do is to excite the public, elicit some emotions, make the people angry, but that is not enough. What we need to see is a parliament and a government that is engaging the people properly and telling us why this is necessary. For me, borrowing is not even a problem. Selling is not even a problem. Where does this money go? Yes. There's a lot of wastage. Right. There's a lot of wastage. You're telling us that you need to sell our assets because the 30% shares, Safaricom shares, is actually our money. It's public. It's public money that was used to acquire the shares. But then when we look at you, the people in government, we see a lot of wastefulness. We see wastage in the manner the money is handled. We saw a lot of wastage during the by-election. We saw a lot of wastage. Even, I mean, every time I go Mashinani, I see a lot of food that is being distributed for free to the people. We can do better than that.
Okay.
So I think the Member of Parliament for Soi has explained to us how we got here. But enough public participation has not been done.
Yes, MPs are very excited to support the president all through this, and that is another thing we'll discuss. Allow me to welcome Wilson Sosion, Mwalimu Wilson Sosion, to this panel. Karibu sana Mwalimu. Mwalimu Sosion is an education expert, is a unionist, and also a former member of parliament. He served in the 12th parliament. Bwana Sosion, the concern now is not the ambition of the president. It's the fact that some of this ambition appears not tempered to any extent. That the president, 3 years ago, he came and told us about the bottom-up economic agenda. Over the last 2 months, he has changed tune completely, and now he's taking us to Singapore. If you ask many Kenyans, they do not understand what Singapore means or where it is or what it looks like. Yet, this is what now we are called upon to dream about and to follow the president on. The question is, have we left the public disconnected with the level of discussion here? Members of parliament are simply supporting the president.
I think, Fred, the problem we have in Kenya is that sometimes we become and we accept to be deliberate slaves of misinformation. And misinformation is a dangerous adventure in any life. I even saw yesterday when the president said the infrastructure fund is budgeted for 5 trillion, and by next year it will be halfway done. And some people argue that the president is saying by next year we shall be halfway to Singapore, which is serious misinterpretation. And it takes time in Kenya for information to be packaged and to be understood and to be what it is. The vision carrier of national development is the President of the Republic of Kenya. That's a fact. And he was elected on the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. That has not changed. The key pillars of economic transformation agenda has not changed. It is agriculture, it's MSME, it's ICT, it is housing, which is what is going on in Singapore. It's universal health coverage to treat everyone. It's gaining traction, all that. And he has said, let us grow this development program to a bigger vision. He has blown it out to a vision of moving to the first world. And how does it take us to, and vision to the first world is not done in a day. It is not done in a presidency of 10 years. Not even in 2 presidencies of 20 years. And he has projected that it can be around 2055. And this is an outline of a straight vision successor to the Vision 2030, which was coined by Kibaki. And strategic plans were put in place. There are 3 pillars. It is what even President Ruto was elected on. The framework of Vision 2030 of yes, you must tailor your presidential vision to the same.
He did not make mention of Vision 2030.
Let me tell you, whether you mention it or not, let me tell you, whether you mention it or not, the manifesto that you coin aligns to the Vision 2030. We are on MTP what? Medium-term expenditure framework is framed on Vision 2030. It is derived from the same. It is also derived from the SDG framework. So all these things don't go on in isolation. And as a country, we are at liberty to design our master plan for development.
Should not be a one-man show.
And what the president...
We appear to have shifted from the Vision 2030. You are talking about first world status.
The president embodies the entire Republic of Kenya. And the president has not sat and executed in silence what he wants to do. Fred, the president gave the State of the Nation address, and he outlined in Parliament. When the president outlines in Parliament, he's making it public. The president has been communicating it to the members of the public. And let me tell you, moving to the first world entails many things, and a lot of things will be unpacked. A lot of work will be done, and the master plans of the ministries will be drawn, or the different state departments, the strategic plans. What does it require even for the State Department of Information and Communication for us to get to you see, we have a disconnect here, yes, because even you guys who are communicating, you don't have the right content and the right information. You are in the dark. You are groping in darkness.
That's why we're asking these questions. That's why we're asking these questions.
And it's good because we are all discussing together. So the vision that the president has outlined is not abandoning the projects and the program that he has. It is growing the same. And you see, the focus now, the means to get to Vision 2055 or the first world, the president has said in 10 years, let us do the infrastructure that we could have done in 70 years. And that is why the infrastructure fund comes in, which is outside the budget.
I thank you for that. But equating the president's ambition to the kind of ambitious plans we had in Vision 2030, that's the question we're asking. Because Vision 2030 had a framework around it. It was not a one-man show. Now we're talking about first world status. And this is a one-man show. It's about the president. We've had statements even from the United Opposition that if they get into power, whenever, they will do away with some of the things this president has done. Because it is not a framework away from the president. It is a political figure who's pushing for this. How sustainable is it? And is there a cost linked, a risk cost, if at all a different administration comes into place and does away with everything this president will have come up with?
You know, in the Muli, I started by questioning the fourth estate and the media. It seems also you rely, the basic of the fourth estate, they don't seem to do their research very well. Allow me to go to the Kenya Kwanza plan. You remember very well when the president was campaigning under the Kenya Kwanza plan, which was actually unveiled in Kasarani auditorium. And all the fourth estate were covering. You remember the plan. I have just downloaded. I want you to go to the plan. You can get it, you can just type the Kenya Kwanza plan. Look at page 11. Page 11 says clearly, under the framework of implementation. Page 11 says clearly, this is what we are going to do so that we can jumpstart our country to first world. We are going to set up infrastructure bank. An infrastructure fund will be established. I'm just reading, Papati. Will be established with initial capitation from privatization proceeds. Okay? With a view to progressively reducing the financing of commercially viable infrastructure projects from the budget. Mm-hmm. It is here. I'm not quoting myself. This is the plan. Maybe, sorry for going back. This is the plan. Yeah? It is here. And it is clearly on what was the agenda. Unless you guys, you are totally...
Don't you think it is presumptuous?
No, so when you say...
that will take about 30, 40 years to implement.
You see the narrative...
A government that only has 5 years mandate.
The narrative you have tried to push is that the president is a one-man show and he seems to have muscled out parliament and he is implementing his own agenda, while very clearly written and released officially, we have the plan, and the plan says we are going to set up a privatization, an infrastructure fund, initially from privatization of government-owned parastatals. And let us get where we are. In fact, I dare now dwelt on the Safaricom issue. The Safaricom, the reason why we have Safaricom as a blue chip company in Kenya is, although government initially own majority shares before it was liquidated by President Kibaki. Initially, they had 59%. The other shareholders, majority of Vodafone, had 49%. But the setup, the agreement was, although the government had controlling shares, but for it to be managed professionally, independently, with private mind, Vodafone was given the mandate to manage Safaricom. Even before the liquidation of, when we were at 51%. At 51%, Vodafone were the ones managing Safaricom. Government was not, was just a bystander because we wanted to create a company that can be managed professionally. Then, when the initial offer came in through President Kibaki, we liquidated up to now we are in 35%, I presume so. And Vodafone is still critical. So the reason the government is engaging Vodafone is for the good reason that it was even engaging when the government had majority shares, because they identified the know-how and the capacity and the experience of Vodafone to run tech companies. Now we are at the position whereby we want to dispose of 15% of our shareholding. For that company to still have that foresight of Vodafone to still manage, then the best way, because at the end of the day we are looking, we have a stake. The best way is to actually engage Vodafone to take up the shares the government is releasing, so that at the end of the day, they can have controlling shares to be able to continue managing professionally Safaricom the way they have been managing. You get? We don't want to release something, then all of a sudden somebody comes, Chinese or something, all of a sudden we lose the entire company. So some things are strategic.
It's well and good when I keep like that.
So let us agree first. Let us agree first in this panel is that the president is true to the plan.
My concern is
that he was elected on.
My concern is, and Bwana Sosion drew parallels with the Vision 2030. Vision 2030 is a plan that carries the whole nation forward.
No,
and belongs to the whole country.
No.
It is not a plan for one political party. It is not.
You've
just quoted the Kenya Kwanza.
Just allow me. If I tell you,
as you continue, you've just quoted the Kenya Kwanza.
No, allow me to set the record.
Allow me to ask this question so that you can continue. Okay. You've just quoted the Kenya Kwanza manifesto.
Yes.
About first world status.
Yes.
It is not part of the nation's plan. There are risks that if the president, and in the next 2 years elections are coming, who knows, he might not be president in 2028. Yes, unless now you know something different. There are real chances that he may not be president in 2028. This ambitious plan, how do you ring-fence it?
Now, may I ask you a very good question? Suppose maybe, let's even go to student politics or something like that. Suppose I'm contesting for the chairmanship. And in campaigns, I come and tell you intimately, I'm going to make sure that I give you uji every morning. And you elect me on that, the promise of giving you uji.
But the president has admitted
may I finish?
Take 30 years.
No, may I finish? So after electing me, if I give you uji, you start questioning, why are you giving me
Kathy, are you getting the concerns?
Let us agree.
The president has said it will take us 30 years to get to first world status. It is not, it is not a promise he can make within his limit as a president.
Okay, maybe I can come in and assist.
I'll come back to you, but I keep like
the two of us, or the three of us here. So first of all, I'm also learning that there was such a plan. This is the time I'm learning, and maybe the reason why some of us in the opposition, we didn't get to see the plan.
Because you weren't reading.
No, we didn't have to read it, because we had our own plan.
Yes.
Now, first I'm learning, and I get the concerns of Kenyans, and majority of them, when they ask, I mean, this is a long term, even from what you've explained. There seems to be a rush, in terms of implementation. people are also questioning, why can't we float this as an IPO? Why can't we open it? Why is someone making a decision that this 15%, as you've said, or 20 or 30, that has to be bought by a specific individual? So the transparency, the arrogance even that comes with these members of parliament when they speak.
Even the ownership.
You know, and that is where the problem is. Engage the citizens, make the citizens part of the conversation. Because once the citizens are part of the conversation, even manipulation or even disinformation and misinformation, as Mheshimiwa put it, will be very limited. We'll dwell on figures, we'll dwell on facts, just like you have tabled them here. You've said it was in the plan. For me, my concern is, and I repeat again, we say we are raising this money. Of my concern to me, our debt, as we talk, how do we raise money in this country? We borrow and we tax our people. I'm very concerned that today, out of 100 shillings that we collect, 96 shillings goes into paying debts. But when you look at the services, when you look at the work that is being done, how many projects, even the infrastructure projects that Mheshimiwa you're talking about, we've seen, even the president and part of his executive go to the ground. They say they are launching a project. They go there with lorries and the contractor is on site 2-3 days later, 1 week later, nothing is happening. There's too much PR and we cannot survive on PR. This PR started in 2013, by the way. It did not come with President Ruto. Just getting Mwananchi excited and telling them you're going to do this and the other, putting a very big billboard and then you don't do anything. Okay. These are the things that we don't want to see. The noise that is coming from Mwananchi, the noise that is coming from us in the opposition, I think you better pay attention. Just give us information. Give us the details. But don't be in a rush. Don't push everything down our throats. We are Kenyans, and Kenya is for all of us.
All right. Let's take a short break. I know you want to contribute. Let's allow us to take a short break. We'll be back, Kiplagat. But before we take a break, remember it is only 7 days to Christmas. And we are here to plug you also. So this festive season, there's only one place that feels like home for celebrations, and that is Fun City in Utawala, where fun meets family and every moment becomes a memory. From end-of-year corporate parties to school fun days, festive events, and magical family gatherings, they bring celebrations to life with entertainment, great food, swimming, spacious venues, and activities for everyone. So this holiday season, celebrate big, celebrate happy, celebrate at Fun City Gardens. And for you to book space there, you can call or WhatsApp this number, 0722-238-988. Once again, the number is 0722-238-988. Fun City Gardens, fun for the whole family. Let's take a short break. Morning Cafe will be right back.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Omer every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. Only on TV 47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV 47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach. Only on TV 47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gas. Betty, I didn't know where this guy's going.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments. Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Meteorologist, what is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of
Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe on TV 47. We continue looking at the big discussions as a country. And if you look at the cartoons today, at least two of them talk about President William Ruto's declared ambition of taking Kenya to first world status, popularly referred to as going to Singapore. And the question is, and we've had statements from the opposition members saying that if they get a chance, and they could get a chance in the next 2 years because we're going for a general election, to get into power, they would get rid of some of the things this president has come up with. We've seen, even when President William Ruto took over, he got rid of some of things that his predecessor had come up with, including Linda Mama and other things. So it is possible that a successive administration can actually get rid of this. And the question is, the vision that we're looking at right now, which is going to cost us, and the infrastructure fund is perhaps the biggest step towards it. How do you ring-fence it and ensure that it's sustainable beyond this administration?
You know, Kenya as a democracy, we've got safeguards of our national development plan. And it's going to be impossible for any president going into the future to alter the journey of the development of a country. Let me first outline how visions work. Like Vision 2030 for Kenya was developed by Kibaki administration, and with 5-year strategic plans, and with key pillars. There are 3 key pillars: political pillar, social pillar, and economic pillar. And within each, there are many, many, many strategic programs. And it's funded by MTPF, Medium-Term Expenditure Framework. And so President Uhuru, even when he coined the big four, the big four are still within Vision 2030. When the President Ruto coined the 5 pillars, it is still within Vision 2030. It will just end in Vision 2030. It is not going to be possible to change national vision development programs and even continental. Are you aware we have Vision 2063? We do, for Africa. Are you aware we have Sustainable Development Agenda for the entire world?
Is this ambition based in any of the agendas you're talking, the visions you're talking about? Vision 2030, Vision 2063.
Let me tell
what the president is talking about. Is it part of any of those visions?
Because we were all within the framework of developing the plan. It is not developed from the blues outside what really exists. It is developed, it is derived from existing national vision and global vision. Even SDG, it is aligned to the SDG. When we were discussing education, we considered the beacons of UNESCO, for example.
Are you telling us...
Let me come to this.
Question. Are you telling us that Kenya moving to first world status is contained in Vision 2030 or Vision 2040? Or Vision,
what is Vision 2030?
Is it contained there?
What is
some of the basics of provision of water and education? Those are very basic issues. First world status is something totally different.
It is not basic. The framework of infrastructure is there, but it's not as ambitious as the president is putting it. Now the president escalated it in the plan by saying, if we want to do our development plan, we must invest in infrastructure. Infrastructure in the current financial framework is from the budget. And if it relies on the budget, it is going to take 70, 100 years. Even if another president will come, the same challenge will be there. What would be the option and the solution? To develop a national infrastructure fund that will operate even outside the budget, and that will be able to finance programs that would have taken 70 years to be done in a shorter period. And in this one, it is in a period less than 10 years. The roads shall have been done adequately and sufficiently. The rail infrastructure shall have been expanded all through the standard gauge and the rail network within the city, and several other modern transport system within towns and within our cities shall have been implemented. The power infrastructure shall have been expanded, because as a country we are doing 2,500 megawatts, and what is required is 10,000 megawatts to drive manufacturing and drive many things within the country. The expanding our port, expanding our airports. Remember, in the Vision 2030, there was the LAPSET and the other corridors. It is still in place. It is in plan. When we were with the president in Isiolo, the development of the LAPSET is still a master plan in place. So all these things.
But I think
I think you're not getting my question.
If you may allow me, I mean, I have a question for my two colleagues, because they're in government and they were part of the people, as my friend has said, Mheshimiwa Sosioni, who developed this plan. I have a very simple question for them. It is 3 years, going to 4 from the time they were elected into office. Some of the basic things that you promised in your manifesto, forget about this thing that you're telling us, the National Infrastructure Fund, and we have to wait for 7 to 10 years to actualize some of the things that you're telling me. There are things that you promised. I'm a mother. You promised us diapers for our children. You promised us very basic things. How come we've not been able to achieve these small things? And now you want to take us to Singapore. You're thinking about a very big plan, yet you've not implemented the smaller things. Where is the problem? And by the way, to me, and I think I've said this before, the problem with our country is that we depend so much, our politicians depend so much on politics of personality and sloganeering. We had the hustler versus dynasty. We had the bottom up. I do not even know what that meant, because Kenyans are suffering more. They were suffering in 2021, 2022. They are suffering more today. We can feel it. I hear some people say that SHA is working. I hear some people say the education system is working. Of course, we know those are lies. It could be working in some places, but it is also failing in some places. Now, I would like to understand, as Mwananchi, as Wanjiku, I would like to understand, if we are not able to implement these smaller things, if you're not able to deliver this one, why do we have this bigger idea that we're going to deliver on the big ones?
Is it now just another opportunity for sloganeering and saying Singapore going to...
And now, by the way, even in the villages, everybody's saying, I was on another show yesterday, and the person who was hosting me said, tunaenda Singapore. So it has already taken off. So it's just a slogan to me.
Yes.
And
beyond the slogan.
I think it's good we become realistic and understand the building blocks of all these issues and be able to connect. When we talk of moving the country to the first world, it is not just about building roads or railways. It is about getting Kenyans out of pockets of poverty and reducing the poverty index in the country. That will be the measure of moving to the first world, which indeed is the big agenda and goal of bottom-up. What is a bottom-up? It is mobility from pockets of poverty to the higher level. And it doesn't happen when you get elected. It is hard work. It is a framework for action, for implementing the plan in place. And when I talk about infrastructure, for example, the work to be done under 10 years is what could have been done for 70 years, because the means of any development is quality infrastructure. That is to do with roads, to do with power infrastructure, to do with water infrastructure, to do with the airports infrastructure, ports and the rest. And that plan is in place. It is budgeted for. It has been approved. It will work. The question that those who are apprehensive about it should be asking is the how and the accountability process of all this. And it's not a new thing. The president is implementing his own plan. Some of it will drive the development of the country beyond his presidency. When another
Isn't that an issue of escaping
when another
accountability?
president succeeds,
When you make promises beyond your presidency.
succeeds, no sane president will depart from the right trajectory of development path of a country.
My question
now,
is,
let me come back. Before you ask your question,
escaping accountability by making promises beyond his presidency?
Before you ask your question, she asked a very valid question, that we are not seeing the diapers, we are not seeing ABCD. Let me take you slowly. Is there progress in agriculture? It may not be 100%. Subsidized fertilizers have been implemented, the programs, and all the different sectors of agriculture, like cane farmers are being paid now weekly. There are a lot of reforms in that sector, and we are likely producing we might not import sugar again, so the importers, cartels who have been making business are being pushed out, and the farmers are benefiting. The dairy industry, coffee industry.
You keep talking about the same things every time.
There's a lot of work. No. Those are important things to talk about because it affects the common man. It's the income of the housing.
No. What you're trying to address here is different.
Is there progress in the housing? Yes, there are over 170 construction sites.
Allow me.
Today, some Kenyans will be moving to new housing. Don't disrupt. Allow me to.
No. You keep talking about the same things every time we have a show here. Agriculture. No. This president has been criticized for making promises that he doesn't deliver on. That's the approach we have. Now he's talking about a very ambitious plan that he has said that will take definitely not less than 20, 30 years to be achieved, well beyond his presidency. Isn't that just a way of escaping accountability, that he can make any promise, however ambitious or wild, and he knows, I do not have to answer about this. In 2027, I'll just say, after all, I'm taking you to first world.
By the way, it is not bad to promise and to be optimistic. That is how you progress. A pessimist mind cannot progress. An optimistic mind will always progress. An optimistic country will always progress. An optimistic leader who is futuristic will take the country to that future. And as they say, Rome was not built in a day, but it started somewhere. Allow me just to take you back up a little bit. In my high school, I think I liked history. If you read how first world countries are progressed, it has never been easy. Look at the Hungarian Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. Look at the former USSR and Joseph Stalin, for example. Or if you go to French Revolution, Bonaparte. The reforms they were able to do, even building the long Siberian Railway. People had to die. And there was a time even they were saying that you cannot feed weak people because you really want to get everything to the stronger people to continue developing the country. So there are some pains that we take, but those pains, finally, they are paying off. So what the president is just saying, let us just not sit in our comfort zone. Let us dream, let us imagine, yes. But in the process, let us promise, and then let us have a way forward on how we are going to achieve that promise. May I finish?
No. I have a question for you as a member of parliament. Because when you started, you talked about the bills you've passed to enable these things to happen.
You know,
are you promising that beyond the 13th parliament, yes, however ambitious these plans may be, that they will be sustainable, whether or not President William Ruto will be there, and whether or not you will be a member of parliament, that it can be sustainable beyond 2027? Are you guaranteeing us that?
You are putting words into my mouth.
I'm asking a question.
You asked me the first question, Before I finished explaining, you have jumped to distract. Because you said, why are you promising things that are 30 years? I want you to tell.
I actually think he's trying to take you to account.
No. May I finish? I was building. Now we are talking about the promises the president has made to take this country to Singapore. And I've read you the plan on how the infrastructure fund will be set up. Part of it is to privatize, because government is not a commercial entity to do business. Part of it is to release our stakes in commercially viable parastatals, because our work is regulations. Our work is not to do business and compete selling biscuits like the way we used to sell biscuits in Uchumi until the whole thing died. You get? Let us leave the private sector to run business. Let government offer policy, let government offer regulations. And then, what do? We said that let us come out from these businesses. Let us give it to the private sector to run businesses. And if you look at the parastatals that we have blue chip parastatals. We have Safaricom, we have shares in KCB, we have Kenya Ports Authority, we have Kenya Power, we have KenGen, we have Kenya Pipeline. If you look at when we were passing the enterprise bill and the privatization bill, if you look at what we are going to do from next year, January, if we dispose of to remove ourselves from doing business and competing with the private sector, we shall be able to generate 1.5 trillion. Safaricom alone, we still have 20% shares, and we'll get around 250 billion. Kenya Pipeline will be able to raise between 150 to 200 billion. So if you look at the spectrum that we want to do, we are able to raise 1.5 trillion. And that is money that will be raised next year. It won't be raised in 30 years.
Isn't there a risk that that money, however raised, could be misused by a different administration?
May I finish? So look at when we are going to borrow money from China. Those are money for pensioners. When we are going to borrow money from Europe, those are money from equity and pensioners. What we are saying is the way the government has been able to reform NSSF, the way the government has been able to reform the equity market, for example, what we are saying is we are creating a vehicle in the name of sovereign fund and in the name of infrastructure fund that all these investment opportunities are going to invest on it, because what we are saying is that you invest your shilling, we do roads, we make sure the Nakuru, the Rironi, Mau Summit up to Malava is now, you don't have to get clocked staying there for 10 hours, and sometimes when you have accident, you stay out there for 3 hours. So we have the plan in terms of now utilizing, may I finish? In terms of utilizing that money in irrigation. Kenya as arable land. The only problem that we have is that scarcity of rainwater. What the president is saying, let us use part of the money to do mega projects in water so that we can be able to do irrigation agriculture in Turkana, in Northeastern, in Kolana Kulalu. All these places that we have land can be able to produce food.
I don't know if you're getting the answer, because I'm still not getting an answer.
Maybe I can also try to
in summary,
what
I'm just saying is we are not looking at 10 years.
I'm looking at the sustainability.
What we are saying is
beyond the political
all the things that will take us to Singapore, we are going to launch them before 2027.
What if we get a different president who doesn't want us to take us to Singapore?
But already, if you have been given a tender to do the Mau Summit Rironi Road, it is a contract. How will you come? Would you come to now and come and cancel?
Now, even before we get there, and I appreciate that Mheshimiwa is actually answering some of the questions that I've been asking myself, while seated in my house or in my office. And now he's shedding a lot of light to that. And for me, the concern has been, how did we get here? So let me tell you, what what the executives and even the parliament are not telling us is that they're trying to raise this money so that they can pay debts and so that they can also hunduinkas kidogo and tell us. Yes.
No, we have not said
just a minute. We have found ourselves in a situation where we are almost unable to pay our debts. Not because we can't, but because a lot of money that we generate as a nation and even what we borrow ends up in people's pockets. And this is known. There's outright theft in government. And we have seen it. Some people have been taken to court. But our systems are, you're innocent until proven guilty. It is always in this, we have read in these papers every day that people in government are doing business. Part of the executive, they are doing business. Their families are doing business. Someone had to be impeached because of something similar to that. Or rather, that was one of the counts. Now, we are under pressure as a country from our international development partners to sort of raise funds within our territories. And that is what these members of parliament were trying to do with the finance bill. Push us, tax Kenyans more, so that they can get money to do these projects that they are calling infrastructure projects. Projects that most of the time do not even commence. Even now, they are under pressure, again, to sort of raise funds locally so that there can be sustainability. And I think that is what you're asking about. Of concern to me, and I will repeat it again and again, where even if you sold the shares, you've talked about the 15%, whether it is 15 or 20, will this money do the job, or this money will be stolen and put in people's pocket? You know, when you look at the executives and even these members of parliament who do meetings, the empowerment programs on the ground, you would think that we are actually a first world country. Not even going to Singapore, you'd think we are actually better than Singapore. The kind of money that we spend there, the number of choppers that land in some villages, and you ask yourself, why? So really, for me, let's stop what I would call in lugha ya mtaa kizungu mingi. Let's tell Kenyans the truth. All these things that we are saying, oh, we are going to do this road, we are going to do that road. Who needs the roads? We actually need healthcare first. We need our education system to work. Give us the basics, and then in future we can go to the rest. Okay. And just to add something very little. To me, yes, give us the basics. You know, we don't have to do harambes every day that we have a cancer patient and we will see the president or the deputy donate 2 million to one patient. How many other patients are out there and they do not know the president who is going to contribute money for them so that they can go to India? You know, let's have systems that work. All these other stories, to me, they're just stories. Okay. And I wanted to say this. These guys are buying time. They want to buy time. They tell us that, oh, the president will need 7 years to accomplish this, to implement this. They want to buy time so that they can get a second term. In fact, given a chance, these people are going to extend from just the 7 years that are remaining, maybe to another 5 and another 5, from what I'm picking. Because you cannot tell us that this is a plan that might even take 10 to 15 years. Please give us the basics.
And that is a concern, and that's the interpretation of many people, that the president is angling at going beyond his prescribed term as president. That probably that's a discussion we're moving into. One of the cartoons, I think, on the People Daily says that, yes, has a caricature of the president hugging a tree and saying that he may need to do this within a second term, and probably he might need a further term beyond that prescribed by the Constitution to do some of this thing. Is that where the conversation is heading? That for us to get to first world status, and the ambition is clothed or carried by this one individual, then we might need him to stay here longer
for 10 years, 15 years.
Prescribed by the Constitution.
I think this country needs to go back to a workshop and a room of communication, so that communication is clear and is understood. Because we waste a lot of time in misunderstanding and misrepresentation. We'll get to Vision 2030 when even some of us don't know that we are working on the framework of Vision 2030. I'm saying this: development of a country outlives the tenure of a president. It does. When the railway infrastructure of the country, the standard gauge railway, was conceived by President Kibaki, but it was not implemented during Kibaki's administration. It is Uhuru's administration that implemented and it is Ruto's administration that is going to take it through across the borders and is part of the wider Africa infrastructure network. It is not just a Kenyan thing. And the road infrastructure plan was conceived during the first term of Kibaki administration, when Raila Odinga was the Minister for Roads. That is when the Thika Superhighway was the first such. And the bypasses, and of course, Kibaki built the Thika Superhighway, and the bypasses were designed, and the bypasses were implemented by Uhuru administration. And we've seen Ruto administration will implement the expressway on the Thika Superhighway. Uhuru administration implemented the expressway. The expressway was in the original plan. Let me tell you, a very serious country will not deviate from the trajectory of its development plan, particularly as that of infrastructure, even up to and including power. You talk of Lamu Port and a railway line through the Northern Corridor and a similar tarmac road, the same. It is still under plan and is being implemented. Who conceived that? Kibaki. Kibaki retired in 2012.
But isn't it also a reality that successive administrations have gotten rid of some of development alignments for their predecessors?
There could be some little bit of twisting, but generally the trajectory will follow the same because it is a master plan. There is no way you can change. The only thing you can do is to improve. And what Ruto administration is doing is to fast track the infrastructure development framework, because infrastructure is the means of doing everything else. Okay. It is a means of promoting manufacturing. It is a means of enhancing movement of goods and services and movement of people. That is what grows the economy. And the financing of the same has to be innovative and outside the budget. Okay. And it was in the plan. It's not a new thing. If it was in the plan, allow me, Fred. Don't cut me. Allow me. And if it was in the plan,
I think your point was already
if it was in the plan,
yes,
it was communicated to Kenyans, and Kenyans voted for it at the ballot. The ballot box in any general election is the highest level of public participation. What the president is doing is simply implement what he promised the people, and what indeed.
You wanted to raise
let me tell you,
I just wanted to
if another president will come in, I can tell you 100%.
It is no guarantee.
100% is not going to get rid of housing.
My friend was
not going to get rid of universal health coverage, because that is where the
we've heard pronouncements
has been subsumed.
But Linda Mama is no longer there.
Yes.
So if we are to go back to that issue of Linda Mama, I will educate him and remind him that he's not there. No. You need to say exactly what it has covered, because I have a share. I'm a member of the insurance scheme. And I know it doesn't work. It doesn't work in some instances. Even my own mother, whom I have to keep, checking on because she has an ailment or two. And I know, really, let's not sugarcoat this thing. Let's be very specific.
It may not be 100%, but it is working.
No, it doesn't work. To me, it works up to, say, 15 or 20%. Now, my friend Sosioni has said that the projects that were started during Kibaki were progressed by Uhuru, then progressed by President William Ruto. That's not true. I'll give you one project that has not been, that was actually, it had been commenced, but it was stopped by this regime. And that is our Mau Mau Road that passes through, through Murang'a, Nyeri, Nyandarua. It was stopped. And even when we raised concerns around it initially, no, just a minute, you can call it restructuring. It was launched by the president. No, but there's nothing happening on the ground. I come from that area. I was at home yesterday. I just came back this morning, so I know what I'm talking about. There's so many projects that were stopped. And by the way, it is not just President William Ruto who does that. Even when you go to members of parliament, you go to the constituencies, you'll find that Mheshimiwa Fulani, like Mheshimiwa now, my friend here, Mheshimiwa Fosoi, if he does not go back to to Parliament. We really wish him the best, that he goes back. The next Mheshimiwa who comes can actually stall some of the... It happens.
Yes.
It happens. It's actually part of our political bad manners.
No, it's not.
No. It happens. It happens. So when you say that there are structures and you can change, we are Kenyans, we live in this country, and we know. But then, for me, and this is where I would like to draw my two good friends, brothers here. Let's have a genuine conversation. You know, the problem with us is that we want to make a lot of noise, and we want to lie to Kenyans that something is happening, while we know very well that nothing is happening. Or at minimum, there's something happening, but what you've promised is too big, and you have not even achieved 10%. The truth is, and even the president once, there's one time that he actually said that the vision that he sold to us and the manifesto and the promises that he made were too big, and he feels that it is time to revisit. I mean, if the president himself agrees that he overpromised and it is time to revisit, who are we not to agree that it is time for him even to go back to the drawing board, call my good friend Mheshimiwa Sosioni and Mheshimiwa Kiplagat, and they go back to the drawing board and give us something better. You know, the believability. Today, most people, even, by the way, at times I pity him, because perhaps even when he says the truth, people do not believe him. People do not believe him because he overpromised. We can't feel it. We don't know what has been delivered. We can't see it. And then even before we finish, and just a very final one. You can never compare President William Ruto with former President Kibaki, because I know there have been those attempts. President Kibaki created and gave us a conducive environment for us to do whatever you wanted to do. And this is in terms of improving livelihood and doing business, for that matter. When you say that infrastructure development will help us to move goods and services, which goods and services? We no longer produce. It is very difficult to do business in this country today because infrastructure, the roads that Mheshimiwa Sosioni has talked about, Thika Road and all these other roads, they made a lot of sense then because they were not just roads. We were moving goods. Okay. But now there's nothing to move. Right. People are closing down their factories. There's no manufacturing in the country.
And the criticism about this ambition is that it could just be another veiled attempt at reintroducing debate around term limits. That probably someone is trying to convince Kenyans that he needs more time beyond that stipulated by the Constitution, and this is his way of doing it. Do you agree?
You know, I totally disagree. You know, we are also introducing another paradox altogether. That
allow Bwana Kiplagat to.
I think we are also I think there has been so many paradoxes that we are introduced. For the first time, we are complaining that we don't want to develop as a country.
No, on this issue of term limits, because it is a big debate, and your colleague from Nandi, the senator, has introduced that debate as well.
Now we are saying that because we have a plan to change this country to first world through what we have set up, and for our imagination, changing it might maybe take to 10 or 15 years.
30 years, according to the president.
Now we presume that as a leader, you can only you can only budget, or you can only see up to where your term ends. I think that's what the discussion you want to bring us to, that you can only see. So if you do something beyond your term, we start imagining maybe you want to extend your term so that you can finish. Government is perpetual. Government doesn't end when the term limit of the leader ends. Government is perpetual. And if we want to develop this country, we don't look at the time you are remaining. You look at the vision that you want that project to achieve. It can take 10 years, it can take 15 years, it can take 5 years. But it has to have a starting point. And the beauty of our country is that once the project has been contracted, there is a contractual agreement that is also perpetual. It lives beyond the leader. And you know, you cannot just wake up one day and cancel the...
Surely, Bwana Kiplagat, we are aware that when President William Ruto came in, he cancelled one of the contracts. Fine, he replaced it with another contractor. The construction of the Rironi Mau Summit Road. It had been contracted to a French company. It is possible to cancel.
What happens is, you should know, you should be aware the terms, because that was a French PPP. The terms were a bit expensive because you see, I know where you want to...
I was challenging your assertion that once something starts, cannot be cancelled.
No,
and I was saying that yes, it's possible to cancel.
You see, it wasn't cancelled because we wanted it to stop. It was, we wanted it to move to a situation whereby we can partner, because we have our own source, our own investors in terms of the pension funds that we could be able to invest. So instead of taking it, the whole of it to foreigners, we said, let part of it come from through PPP. Part of it comes from China. Part of it comes from our local equity market, including NSSF savings, so that at the end of the day we have also Kenyans benefiting. We don't take it the whole of it, and that cancellation was a mutual agreement that was in the contract, and we were able to pay the termination fee.
So it is possible to cancel. For whatever reason.
It is possible to cancel, yes, but there is a pain of cancelling.
Yes.
It is only that pain outweighs the plan that we wanted to.
My concern now, to you as a member of parliament,
yes,
is because fine, the ambition is good, and looking at the pictures of Singapore, fine, no one would not want to go to that level.
Hope you have been in Singapore.
I've never been to Singapore, I just see pictures.
It's a very interesting country.
Yes.
Yeah.
The issue is,
yes,
we understand the Vision 2030, no one can stop it. No political new administration can come and say we are doing away with Vision 2030. Why is it difficult to use the same approach for this ambitious plan, if at all it is a national psyche that we need to go towards Singapore? And do you think, as a member of the National Assembly, you've done enough to ensure the sustainability? That once you leave Parliament, and the 13th and the 14th Parliament comes in, that will be the same thinking.
May I just ask you? You have asked me a question. May I also allow you to allow me to ask you a question? What is Vision 2030?
Oh, you expect me to answer? I'm used to asking the
questions. We are explaining as if it is an animal. Vision 2030 is exactly what we are doing to develop this country to a first world. That is Vision 2030, including
in a framework, including a political administration,
including doing the infrastructure, the road infrastructure, doing the investing in water sources,
yes,
investing in agriculture, investing in state-of-the-art airports and railway system and our port system. All these things is geared towards Vision 2030, because the summary, you know, we summarize, we want to, Vision 2030, we want to take this country to,
question is,
to the first world.
Is it possible that with a change of administration, we can do away with that vision?
Now, what are we, you know, I'm also...
That's a question.
What are we complaining about?
No.
The president has said, we want to take this country to a first world. And this is the way to do it.
Bwana Kiplagat, I'm asking you this because you're a member of the National Assembly.
Yes.
There's no new administration that can come and declare they're doing away with Vision 2030.
Has anybody done away with it?
No.
Yeah.
There are assertions by people who could occupy the next administration, possibly because we do not know the future, that they will do away with some of the plans or or some of the projects being implemented by this administration. Have you, as a member of the National Assembly, done anything to ensure that anything, because you're saying government exists in perpetuity, that some of the things that we see that are positive and are being started by this administration will live beyond this administration, even if the political leadership changes? Have you done anything to ensure the sustainability?
That's what I'm telling you. The fact that the law supports the creation of infrastructure fund, it supports the creation of sovereign fund, moving forward, in terms of the creation and operationalization of the two funds, I'm telling you, 2026 they will be operational with enough capital to be able to set the projects that we have said we are going to implement. What happens by the time we are campaigning in 2027? Those projects will be ongoing. So it won't be on paper. You will see whether it is there will be construction sites.
And it cannot be stopped. If 2028 there's a new president and it's not William Ruto, nothing can be stopped.
Now you can go and remove excavators from the Rironi highway.
You know, just allow me. It is interesting how the people in government talk to us. It is also interesting to see how the opposition responds, and most of the time they respond to just either make noise or create a situation where we all do not understand what is going on. Mheshimiwa is saying that, once they raise the money, you see for them, wamejipanga. You can see they've already passed a bill so that the entire structure of how they intend to do this, they want to be covered. So that is where they have hurriedly pushed these two bills, and now they feel they are sorted. I just want to tell him that the page 10 of the Standard, I see there someone who has gone to court, and he has sued the CS for the Minister for Finance and the AG. And this is because of the sale of the Safaricom state shares. We know the target, and he has even named them. The target is Safaricom, Kenya Pipeline, Kenya Ports Authority, yeah? We know, and even KCB. Kenyans are woke, and no member of parliament, and even the executive should assume that because they have this power, they are going to push some of these things down our throats. Just like we did with the finance bill, yeah? Because they hurriedly pushed a finance bill. The young people went to the streets. Of course, we regret that quite a number of them were killed, maimed, and we cannot even account for so many of them just because someone felt that they were stopping something that had to pass. Even this, because Kenyans are woke and they can really feel and see what these people are trying to do. Because you cannot tell us, you're a member of parliament, and I'm not quoting any of my brothers here, but a lady member of parliament came out and said, kama raisi anataka kuuza kila kitu ndio ajenge barabara. I mean, you guys, stop the arrogance. Kenya is for all of us, and we have a stake in these shares. They are not for the president. They are not for members of parliament. So stop doing these kind of things that you did in year 24, and we ended up in anarchy and a situation that was, we could have avoided that situation. But I see that we are back there. These guys have gone to court. Maybe another person will go to court. We don't have to do it this way. We can engage the people because, as Mheshimiwa Sisioni said, there's a lot of misinformation.
And Parliament could do better.
They can do better.
Allow me to give each one of you 2 minutes for your final comments. Bwana Sisioni, you begin, and also wish us a Merry Christmas as you finish up.
I think you give me some reasonable
time. No. Unfortunately,
now,
time.
This culture of misinformation, to me, is deliberate. It is political. It is meant to confuse. That is not how we are going to run the country. If, for example, we say hypothetically, a president was going to be elected for not exceeding 5 years, does it mean that every 5 years a new president comes in, you do away with national plans, start new ones, another one? It is not possible that way. And I think it has reached a time we agree on what is right for the country, all of us, regardless of the political orientation, that then this is a national plan. And it is not going to be possible, Fred, for a strong democracy like Kenya, where policies are strong. Like, for example, what was not entrenched in legislation in Vision 2030 has been entrenched in legislation in the bottom-up economic transformation. And any new president coming in the future will ride on the same, because it's already legislation. Let me ask, who is going to refuse expansion of infrastructure? The Rironi Mau Summit dual link will get to Malava. Do the people of Western Kenya require the dual road? Yes, they do. And no sane president is going to stop that. So these are the master plans. It begins with somebody. Currently, the vision carrier of the national development of this country is President William Ruto. And what he's doing has got nothing to do with politics. He has stated it very clearly. And he has engaged all leaders, both in opposition and in government. So I think it has reached a time we now separate our cheap political arguments and trying to put everything through a negative lens, and we bastardize national development. We end up losing. We need to trigger the production sector of the economy. We cannot say we cannot have roads with no goods and services to move. Let us create those goods. Those goods, we are an agricultural country, for example. And one of the master plans of Kenya Kwanza plan is to encourage production in the agricultural sector. That's why there is going to be irrigation to enhance production, and then processing of the raw materials so that we don't export raw materials. We process them and move them. And that is how to make our economy competitive and realistic. And that is going to translate to availability of revenue and resources to finance quality education and to finance quality healthcare. So all these things work in succession. And it's a very scientific and complicated network that nobody can reverse that reaction. So the country should react forward and give us a product of the first world where every household will be out of poverty. And when it is out of poverty, it means it can afford basic needs. Every household can afford basic needs. And every household, children will get quality education and quality health care. I think that's a good dream. That is what nations have done. Kenya is not an exception. Allow the president to lead us in this. When another president comes in, that new president should not depart from the same. You can improve, of course, like cancelling a contract because it was expensive. It is not discontinuing the project. You are improving it. You are bringing a contractor who is more reliable than the previous one so that you deliver. So Kenya must move forward.
2 minutes. Sosionas forfeited his Christmas message.
Okay, maybe first in the morning.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Of course, I have not forfeited. And Merry Christmas to you, the Mullion, the panelists here.
You know, the most interesting part I found out is that the ping pong reactions from the united opposition and all those people who oppose government is one, for the first time, we are seeing a scenario whereby the opposition are opposing development.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I've never had.
Yeah.
For the first time, there is an analogy or a paradox that because the president is releasing a plan beyond the term limit, that he has intentions to extend his term limit. You know, such pedestrian reasoning alone gives it a low believability on the part of the opposition. What Kenyans want is a situation whereby the problems of this country, the economic problems of this country, can be addressed. And part of the addressing is the fact of the matter is that we have borrowed enough. There is no way we can progress by looking at the narrow aspects of how we have been getting money from our lenders. We have borrowed enough. Secondly, we are saying government is not in the business of doing business. Government is in the business of making sure that there are good regulations, there are good policies for businesses to be able to thrive. So we are saying for us to offer conducive environment, to be food secure, to have an infrastructure that is state of the art, just like the first world. is that we need to release part of the equities that we own in these parastatals to the private sector. Those we can use those funds instead of borrowing. You use those funds in terms of infrastructure fund, sovereign fund, to be able to develop.
Okay.
And what happens is it is Kenyans who will decide. And the beauty is, because the minds of Kenyans, they like seeing is believing. I can tell you, by the time we are in 2027,
we'll see something.
Kenya will have finished part of them, and those ones which we will have not finished, Kenya will be a construction site.
All right.
And
your Christmas message,
I dare tell the opposition, my genuine advice for this one, it has bolted.
Imeenda.
Yeah, hii imeenda. Kindly wacha waangalie 2032, but hata wakicheza 2032 itaenda.
Na William Ruto ataendelea beyond 2032.
No.
Okay. So that they also so that the two gentlemen.
My Christmas message. I think what we have seen preluding the Christmas is that there has been a lot of accidents, which we have lost a lot of lives, including our former MP and chairman of YK92, Mheshimiwa Chirongo, through a road accident. We want to tell our drivers, let us be cautious during this festive season, so that at the end of the day, we can save enough lives of our Kenyans to move to the new year, so that we don't want to lose a lot of Kenyans and we want them to see Singapore.
Yeah,
so,
Finally,
so thank you very much,
Yes.
Indimuli. So for me, I know and I believe that our economy is at the verge of collapse, and we know that very well. That is why there is an attempt by government to sell our assets to salvage the situation. And any sober thinking, or anybody who understands the complexity of these issues, would really take time to listen. And I've personally taken time to listen. The reason why I'm listening is because I understand where we are, and therefore what majority of us who understand is we want to be convinced why, and we also want to understand if this money is if the shares are sold, where will the money end? Because of course we are very worried about the corruption in the country. And the other thing is, because I had wished Kenyans a Merry Christmas, there's a project that was stopped in Nyeri, and that is the cancer center at the Kimathi University, and it was supposed to serve an entire region, including Meru and other areas. So it was not a Nyeri project, it was a project for the region. Mm-hmm. And we are concerned because the levels and the numbers of patients we have that emanate from the non-communicable diseases, including cancer, is very high. And that center would have sorted a lot of problems. It would have our people get treatment at the local level instead of having to fly them to India. I saw the president donate 2 million to a musician, an artist from the region, which we appreciate. But then we don't have to send our people to India. Okay. Let's make the systems work.
Thank you so much, Kathy Rongo, a political commentator, David Kiplagat, MP Soy, and Mwalimu Wilson Sosion, who's a renowned educationist and unionist, also served as MP in the 12th Parliament. Asanteni sana for your time at T47, and I would also take this opportunity to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Yes, 7 days to Christmas, and we are here to plug you. The festive season is here. There's only one place to be for the celebrations, and that's Fun City in Utawala, where fun meets family and every moment becomes a memory. From end-of-year corporate parties to school fun days, festive events, and magical family gatherings, they bring your celebrations to life with entertainment, great food, swimming, spacious venues, and activities for everyone. So this holiday season, celebrate big, celebrate happy, celebrate at Fun City Gardens. So call and WhatsApp this number to book or to make a booking, 0722-238-988. Once again, 0722-238-988. Fun City Gardens, fun for the whole family. And that's where we dock for this session of State of the Nation. My name is Fred Ndimuli. Good morning.